We've got a massive MPNFL footy show coming up on GameFace. Mixed results from the Vic Country round over the weekend at Rosebud. We get to speak to the coach of the senior team, Chris Holcomb, live in the studio as always, and he's flying. Bomb Beach superstar talking and flying. Shane McDonald is our special guest. Red Hill and Crew Point celebrate reconciliation match, and another massive round of footy coming up in first and second division. But gentlemen, as we welcome Tony Blackford, Chris Holcomb, and our guest from the Bomb Beach Footy Club and the man who kicked 6 goals for the MPNFL in their great win last week, Shane McDonald, we have a formal apology because, as you can see on the screen, and they're promoting it this week, their big game, Hastings taking on Somerville. 1B for Vola will be playing. We did say on this program a couple of weeks ago, we've all got contacts in the industry, that we thought that Fev wouldn't be playing for Hastings again. So we apologise formally, gentlemen, to the Hastings Football Club for that comment. I have spoken regularly to their secretary, Stuart Gay, since then, and he's told me on numerous occasions that Fev will be cleared for one-off match to another club for the week of June the 1st. Yes. And then he'll be back playing as many home games as possible for the Hastings Football Club. So and we obviously got our information wrong.
Mainly be home games, Dan? Is that what
mainly home games, Blackers, is what I've been told, yes.
Awesome, that's what he's there for. So hopefully they get a big crowd out for this week.
Well, against Somerville too. I mean, that's going to be a ripping game.
Well, it's 5th against 6th on the table. It's an important game, 8-point game for both teams in regard to
and it's good for the competition, and it's good for Hastings to still keep Fev at the club.
Well, I'm glad he's there.
Yeah, I think we all are.
It's wonderful for the competition. Now, mixed results from the Victorian Country League on the weekend in regard to the interleague matches, and the MPNFL in the under-19s, they got jumped early, 5 goals to nothing. I thought they were very good after quarter time, but left their run way too late.
Probably outscored them the next 3 quarters,
Dan,
didn't they?
Yeah.
And just 20 points was roughly the margin at the end.
Yeah, it was. It was 34 to 1 at quarter time, and they were just very clean in the first quarter. The Ovens and Murray, they look really, really good. You've got to remember that they're an under-18 comp back home.
But they were able to play their 19-year-old
boys, they were. We've played a lot of senior footy.
They all play senior football now.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Did you see the big ruckman here, Damien? 6'6" and 100 kilos. I saw him on Friday night eating about 4 meals, and I thought, gee boys, you guys are in trouble in the under-19s the next day. And I quickly rang Chewy Scanlon and Tim Bonghetti, and I said, mate, the ruckman's 6'6". He said, rubbish.
And he's just demolished
he said,
Palmers.
Yeah, he did. He's just he did. And he won the under-18 best and fairest last year, so he was superb. But it was a good effort, I thought, by the MPNFL to fight back after a poor start. It was a tough day for the netball. The girls were outclassed.
Dan Frampton from Red Hill got the medal for best on ground.
Yes, he did. I thought he was good, but again, it indicates I couldn't tip my hat because I didn't give him best on ground. I thought he was a long way off.
He's a really good, strong body. He's probably his biggest deficiency is he turns the ball over at times.
But he did play a good game. But was he best on ground? Probably not.
Yeah.
Probably not. But
you
anyway.
know, Dan.
We'll talk about that a bit later, Dan.
We'll get to the senior match in a second. Let's talk about the netball because it wasn't a good day for the girls. They got well beaten by the Ovens and Murray, 58-26. And speaking to the girls later, they were very, very surprised about how good the Ovens and Murray were. They were just far too good for them. So congratulations to the Ovens and Murray netball girls. In the seniors, the Ovens and Murray started really well, Chris. They jumped you early, 5 goals to 3. I thought your second quarter was very good, a lot of inside 50s, but their defence led by their best on ground, Nathan Cooper. What a good defender he is. And also Michael Duncan, their small defender, number 12. They just kept repelling you, and then they had a 3-goal lead at half-time, but things changed in the second half.
Probably in that second quarter, you didn't get reward for effort. Hulks, would you say that? Or?
100%. I think the first quarter, they blew us out of the way. Their transitional running backwards and forwards was huge. They were slipping out of the front of packs, so we needed to adjust a few things around the contest. Second quarter, I think we were right on top, but we just couldn't put the score on the board. That was frustrating, but coming at half-time, and the guys were all up and about because they knew that we had plenty of the ball. We just had to convert. So,
Macca, from a player's point of view, is there a lot of voice at half-time thinking we're not far away? A little bit of frustration, but still confidence?
Yeah, we could feel that if we could wrestle the stoppages back, then we could, we can get on top of them. And as Hulk said, we thought they were just getting out the front a little bit too much. And we just had to even up that stoppage work where I think there was a couple of us trying to get the footy instead of knowing our roles in the first half. which will work out pretty well.
Now, there was a criticism of the jumper clash. No doubt there was a jumper clash. Described by some people as a bunch of yellow wiggles running around. It was dark yellow for the Ovens and Murray, light yellow for the MPNFL. How hard was it as a player?
It was pretty hard because when you're looking down, you just see a yellow and you just give it out. So there was a couple of times there I was just yelling out the back, and a couple of them flicked it out to me, which was pretty handy.
You were on fire,
and they said the same thing. They got a couple of balls thinking, gee, that didn't come from our players. But I've spoken to both leagues today, and there was just a breakdown in communication because, Blackers, what happened too was there were dark shorts. The MPNFL had dark blue shorts and dark blue socks. Ovens had black shorts and black socks.
Yeah, they should have gone white shorts.
Yeah, no doubt they should have, and probably even had yellow socks even.
And reverse their jumper. They could have quite easily gone
Could
blue
have easily.
with a yellow.
Well, the AFL South East response was no excuses, not good enough, and I think all parties will learn that next year they make sure they're in touch a bit more often as to...
Northern's a different story though, Dan.
Well, I don't know what colour Northern is. It's a big game next year.
Blue.
Well, you guys are generally blue though, aren't you?
No, we're yellow with a light blue. They're full blue, so with a white trim. So there's no clash there, mate.
Be lovely if it's at the MCG, boys, wouldn't it?
Would be very nice. It's a nice little character to have. And I know the guys enjoyed it. I think, Macca, you played there a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I did.
And you enjoyed the experience?
Great experience, yeah.
And on the weekend, you know, there was probably some name players that didn't make themselves available, but on the weekend, on that big open ground of Rosebud, the leg speed of the young guys is what we missed on the MCG, Macca.
That was, yeah. I think we were
we
maybe
went with
a little
bigger,
bit too old.
stronger bodies.
A bit older.
And Geelong that day went with leg speed, Dan.
Who surprised you on the weekend? Because I was surprised by a few of them of actually how good they were and how fast they were.
Yeah.
Who surprised you?
Sean Downey in the middle, he was... he really surprised me. Second efforts, and he's just strong around the footy. Hutchie as usual. I know what Hutchie's like, but even Sammy Fowler in the forward line. He kicked one goal 5, but geez, he was in the right spot all the time. And even little Shani Gladman. They're just good little players, them boys.
He finished it off, didn't he, in that last quarter when you had the momentum.
And Macca, sorry to interrupt, Dan. That's what's so good about interleague football. You know, what you sort of see those players on 2 times a year, you get to see them firsthand and how good they are because you're actually playing with them.
That's right,
and the friendships you make out of interleague football is everlasting.
And you combine so well. I mean, it helped that your full back line, Hulks, was full of YCW players. It was actually a YCW line, wasn't it? With Barry, Ongarello and Lilac, and they all did a good job. And I thought Jonas Siverson was terrific. You played Mould in defence. He's never played defence before. You said, well, he's playing back, and he gave you a great run across half-back. And I thought Sammy Gertz was absolutely outstanding. And Shane, I'm willing to take a hip and shoulder from you. I'll put my hand up. I know everyone gave you best on ground,
Rosebud.
but I gave Sammy Gertz best on ground for a 4-quarter effort because I thought I'm a hard man. And then again, I didn't give Nathan Cooper best on ground for the MPNFL either. I gave it to Michael Duncan, their small defender number 12. But I thought Nathan Cooper was given the job, and I heard the opposite coach, John Henry, say 3-quarter time, Coops, you've got to get on McDonald. Your job will be to close him down. And he was able to close you down. What was his strength, you thought, in the last quarter?
He just kicked 4 though, mate. He
that's
was tired.
what I was thinking when I watched the vision back. Dan didn't even, he reckons I faded in the last quarter.
Sorry, Shane.
But no, I think I was on him for a little bit in the first half, and then obviously, when I kicked a couple in the third quarter, they just put me back on him. But he was just strong, but I think I was just fading as well at the end of the game. So
his job was done, Dan.
Yeah.
Well,
but
he was involved in 6 goals in that third quarter. Kicked 4 himself, including that spectacular one-handed mark, and then you also were involved in 2 other score involvements. So it was a fantastic quarter. Now, rumour has it that you said to the coach, "Push me forward." Was that your idea or was it Chris's idea? Because Paddy Slade said in the commentary, he's got to go forward.
Yeah, it was quite a funny thing. I actually walked out. I was just getting a bit of a rub, and I just said, "Hulks, I'm thinking about maybe going forward. I reckon I've got me man." And Hulks goes, I'm just thinking exactly the same thing, we'll roll with it. I'm like, sweet, no worries, let's do it.
Hey, Dan,
sure enough.
And Macca, how good was the ground? You know, the surface down at Rosebud was like carpet. And those new clubroom and facilities are state of the art, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Well, I went to the function for I actually invited myself to the Ovens and Murray on Friday night because I wanted to get a look at the players. And they were fantastic. David, the chairman, and also Sean Barrett, the general manager. I thanked them very much for allowing me to be part of it all, and they said how good the ground was, how good the facilities were, and they were rapt to be there, and it had taken them 4 hours to get down, but they were looking forward to it and really excited, and they said, we've got the right venue. Now, I had Sam Gertz from Dramana as the best on ground. I thought he was fantastic, and we spoke to him after the game. One of the best men on the ground for the MPNFL today was Sammy Gertz from the Dramana Footy Club. Sammy, a lot of fun out there, mate?
Yeah, it was good. It was good to get the win with the boys. We had a few good training sessions together, and I think we gelled out in the second half.
What happened in the first half?
They just came out firing. They were really quick, and we just couldn't really match them with the pace. And then I think we started playing more as a team in the second half, and that's when we started to run over the top of them.
Were they a bit more cleaner than you thought in the first half? Particularly Manor and a couple of the other midfielders got a lot of the ball, a lot of clean footy in the first half.
Yeah, number 6 and number 21 were two of the people who were trying to slow down a little bit. They just kept using the outside run. They were breaking a few tackles, but I thought we started controlling the ball in the second quarter. We just couldn't score. So yeah.
A lot of experienced campaigners, as Chris said and John Anderson said, down back. How important is it to play with guys like Kyle Hutchison and Kev Lilac and Byron Barry, who played a lot of interleague footy, and of course Shane McDonald?
Yeah, it's awesome. It's really good to see how they go about it, like pre-game and even during the game. Their talk's amazing, and it helps out our youngsters. There's a few youngsters in our team, and I think there was a good kind of there was a good bunch of youngsters and a good bunch of older players that kind of showed us the way a little bit today.
And it just indicates how well Dramana are going. Two of your teammates, Quigley and also Sammy Fowler, playing in that team. I mean, it's been a great start to the season for Dramana, hasn't it? You must be delighted to have 3 in this team and be 4-2 as you get back into it next week. Yeah,
it's really exciting. I think we're expecting. I think inside the club we're expecting to win a few games at the start of the year, and maybe outside the club people weren't expecting us to do as well as we have. But we've got to keep moving forward. We've got Pines at home next week, which is going to be a tough game, so we've got to be switched on for that one.
Well, it's GameFace's match of the day, so it will be a big one. If you can win that, it'll prove you right there, won't it?
Yeah. We like playing at home too. We like the smaller ground. We seem to play well at home, and hopefully we can keep the winning streak at home going.
Good on you, Sammy. Congratulations on a great game today, and good luck for the rest of the season.
Sweet.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Good on you, mate. Thanks. Game by Sammy Gertz. He didn't win the medal. It was thoroughly deserved to be won by Shane McDonald. As we've said many times, Blackers, Macca and Hulks, opinions are like backsides. We've all got one. But my 3, 2 and 1 was 3 to Sammy Gertz, 2 to Matt LaFontaine, I thought was outstanding, and 1 to you, Macca. But probably at the end of the day, I was easily outvoted. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I thought you were absolutely magnificent.
Yeah. Can I just say something else too? I want to throw a shout out, thank you to Jamie Mollo. Jamie Mollo, a couple of weeks before we were going to play, we were able to release Jonas Siverson and Mouldy, all right, and they were playing on the Saturday, which was fantastic. Those two kids on Saturday, the smile on their faces that they had after the game and the enthusiasm that they had for that game was amazing. And I spoke to Jamie after, and he said, yeah, what they got out of it was huge. And it's just going to improve them as footballers going on down the line. And to be able to interact with everyone around the league and experience different coaches and different players, it's only going to benefit them.
And that's what interleague's all about, Holtz,
100%.
isn't it? And years ago, we used to have, you used to keep playing until you lost, Dan. And when you lost, so you'd sometimes play 2 or 3 games in the year. Right. So the bond that you had with the players was fantastic. And you used to have to miss a club game along the way.
You would have felt that too out there though, mate?
Oh, that was, I consider Dan on the Thursday night with selection. I think it was my 10th or 11th time representing the league. And I always put my hand up just because of that, exactly what you spoke about, meeting different players, trying to get the best out of yourself, and playing with different people is just a good atmosphere around the club, and especially going away sometimes is great, and then staying down here is obviously good as well. But yeah, it's just building them relationships, and I could see the young fellas in the last quarter. They had such massive smiles on their face in the forward line, and
it's terrific for them.
I hope they enjoyed the experience, because
wonderful.
Then they'll put their hand up now in years to come, hopefully.
Hulks has said to some media outlets, and even said to me, he said that Macca is good enough to play league footy. Any regrets?
I probably should have stuck it out at VFL level a bit longer. I had a year at Collingwood and then a year at Frankston, and then both of them years I just sort of pulled the pin halfway through the year because I just sort of wasn't feeling the environment of
and just the love and
just good
and homesick
good
and all
footy,
that,
and just afterwards and having a beer with your mates. Like everyone just sort of split up, you know. So I'd often find myself going back to Bond Beach that night and having a few beers with them boys. But now I sit back, I wish I had stuck it out because I was there in the same years that Bagley and Hibbard got picked up.
So how old were you then?
I was 23.
So that sort of age is pretty funny too. Like if you haven't got a close couple or whatever that you're going through that system with, it makes it a little bit hard as well.
Yeah.
So you can understand that sort of, that environment doesn't sort of suit, and sometimes it can be a lonely place.
And you need to be in that system for at least 2 or 3 years to give yourself that opportunity to do the big pre-season, ground yourself.
Well, speaking to your assistant coach, Bevan Malloy, at the jumper presentation on Wednesday, he had a chance to be on the rookie list at St Kilda when it was first introduced, and he wasn't sure it was going to last, the rookie list. And then the next year he was training at Carlton, and he had osteitis pubis, had to play the last practice match. The doctor said he can't play because his body's not right. And Terry Danaher said a few years later, when he was playing for Frankston, I think Terry might have been coaching when they were obviously with the Bendigo Bombers, and he said this guy's good enough to play league footy if he had have gone a bit earlier. And sometimes the opportunities don't come, and sometimes they do. But
Bev finished second in the list, and
he
was a gun player, but he was the same thing. He didn't have a close set of mates up there that he was going through that with, and he had strong ties back with Kringle back in the day as well, and Frankston as a VFL club. So I sort of understand why Bev sort of went that way as well.
Now, one of the unsung heroes, and there are a lot of unsung heroes, I thought the 2 goals that Corey Buchan kicked from the boundary out of nowhere were magnificent. But his teammate, who's an interesting character, he's actually an engineer, he's very eloquent, got a chance to speak to the backup ruckman, who was more than a backup ruckman. He played a great role in the second half, Harry Pryor, after the great win in the Interleague on the weekend. Well, Harry Pryor was another one of those unsung heroes in the MPNFL team, especially in the second half. What was it like, Harry? Must have been a great experience being out there today, especially with that great comeback in the second half.
Yeah, it was really good. The second half, we just had the pressure on, and they were a bit of a front-running team, and we just came in and we got clean clearances, clean ball use, and we just converted on the scoreboard.
You helped Dylan Jones in the ruck. Hannah was a big man, wasn't he? But I didn't feel he really got on top, did he?
No, he won a few hit-outs, but they weren't too clean, they weren't too clean, so they didn't use it as best as it could, but we just tried giving our mids first use.
Tell us about your defence. Do you walk tall when you've got Lilac, when you've got Ongarello, young Siverson doing a good job, helping out down there, Mould as well, Byron Barry, some good players?
Very reassuring when you have them in your back line, especially Shane McDonald running around the forward line.
What about your Bombers, mate? Corey Buchan kicking those 2 from nowhere. What did you think of that? Does that every day, does he?
He does that every week for the club. He backman turned forward, so...
Well done, Harry. Congratulations. And the Bombers a great win last week. Hopefully they can continue that from next week, and congratulations on a wonderful win today. So that's Harry Pryor after the big win in the Interleague match. One of our great sponsors here on GameFace, Peninsula Safety and Workwear. For all you tradesmen out there, make sure you get behind these guys because they're a family-owned business who provide all types of workwear, boots, safety and promotional items. Very, very important, of course, to Peninsula Safety and Workwear. Screen print and embroidery to personalise all your workwear needs. PSW are a huge supporter of community sport on the Mornington Peninsula, and they can be found at 82 Yules Road in Mornington. So let's have a look now at the Red Hill reconciliation match. There are a couple of second division matches on over the weekend on the same day while the Interleague match was on. Unfortunately, they were not great matches. They were one-sided matches, but it was a big day, gentlemen, for Red Hill for their reconciliation match. You can see on the screen Harry Burt wearing the Indigenous strip designed by Shaden Bloomfeld and Shamila Gladsby. A terribly one-sided game, as we said, but a lovely jumper, and well done to Red Hill for recognising reconciliation.
And Dan, they got a good crowd up there. They really did, and it was a beautiful day for football, wasn't it?
Very warm day.
Yeah, it was a great day.
And that's a magnificent performance by Red Hill. Disappointing, so one-sided though, boys, isn't it?
It is, but hopefully the league are looking into something maybe that they'll do in the future.
Well, that's what I've been heard.
Is that a segue?
Well, no, I just think that they're looking at a third-tier division.
Really?
And it's something
for next year?
Well, I don't know when it'll come out, but I've talked about it for a long time, Dan.
Yes, I know you have.
With a lot of people. So
with passion too.
A lot of passion.
So I think that in Division 2 there should always be 10 teams. At the moment there's 12. Some sides play the lesser sides twice, and it's not good for those sides either.
So could Cranbourne then get their opportunity to come?
Possibly.
If we get a third division, can you stop calling them Peninsula and Nepean leagues?
Division 1, 2 and 3, that's what it is.
Yeah, it is.
Because you can't have... Well,
I reckon
you
he
can't
was-
have a name, can you?
You can't have Peninsula, Nepean and Division 3.
I reckon he was on the scoreboard. At the scoreboard at Interleague, they had Nepean up there. I reckon it was.
There was
was
like,
mate.
I thought about that.
Yeah,
Thought about that.
I've got to get doing the scoreboard.
Oh,
Now,
God.
boys, we need to talk about sports
I saw the guy
performance
on the
tracking,
scoreboard.
another one of our sponsors, because Matty LaFontaine was wearing it on the weekend.
Nearly blew it up.
He
Nearly
did
blew
blow
it
it
up.
up. He did do a lot of miles, I thought. Have you ever worn one, Macca?
No, I haven't, no.
Well, not after he faded, Dan.
Oh,
You wouldn't
he's
give it to a
done too
bloke
much
that's
pressure
faded.
now.
He doesn't need to, does he? He's too
If
good.
he had one of those trackers on, Dan, I'd guarantee you he wouldn't have faded.
No, like you said.
You're talking to a man who's been lucky enough to vote on 2 Norm Smith medals.
Oh.
Mind you. I didn't give the 3 votes. I didn't give the 3 votes to the winner either. I didn't give the 3
Name-dropping.
votes to the winner. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, you didn't
Lot of
on the
name dropping.
weekend, Dan.
Which grand final was that?
2010. I didn't give it to Pendlebury.
Who'd you give it to?
It was the replay. I gave it to Luke Ball.
Oh, Jesus.
He was second best.
I'll watch
Yeah.
that game.
And I thought Pendlebury was second best, but I didn't give it to him. But then again, it didn't matter because everyone else gave it to him. So, and I wasn't the chairman. And there was another one way back in 2004 where I think I gave Wanganeen best on ground. They gave it to Byron Pickett. I couldn't believe it.
Ah, well, but
It's a long-
can't win them
Just
all,
on
mate.
mate.
that, what do you have to do if you have 20 possessions to kick 6 goals? What do you got to do to get 3 votes, do you reckon?
And turn the game.
Probably not do much. That's why my opinion is a terrible one, Shane.
If you had known Macca was coming in tonight, would you have changed your votes?
Probably. Yeah. Now, sports performance tracking, we're talking about Matty LaFontaine from YCW. His speed was 31.14.
Top speed, Dan. That's
Top
good,
speed,
isn't it?
ahead of Kyle Hutchison, who wore it the week before. So Matty wore it on the weekend of the interleague match, 29.3, and Luke Potts at 26.75. But distance travelled, Luke Potts beat Kyle Hutchison 13.673 to Kyle Hutchison 12.151.
Are they miles or kilometres?
Kilometres.
Kilometres, are they? Okay, I'll just
So
check
it just indicates how much distance those sort of players
Cover.
travel and cover during a game of footy, and it's a fascinating initiative that we certainly need to be keeping a close look at. And we'll be doing it every week because they're a very big part of our team as a sponsor here at GameFace. Well, let's look at second division first and go through the tips. Coringal on top of the ladder from Red Hill. Chelsea is starting to find some form. Seaford, Somerville and Hastings, they're your top 6 in Langwarren 7. 3 wins, 3 losses. Rye also 3 wins, but have played 1 more game. And then it drops away after that to Devon Meadows. I'd say after Rye, even though Rye have a poor percentage, you could probably discount the other teams as being in contention. Group Point hosts Langwarren. Langwarren just need a big percentage booster, boys, don't they?
They just need to do everything right and make sure that they get some continuity into their game.
Devon Meadows and Chelsea. Now, Devon Meadows, I think, beat Chelsea last year, and Chelsea did lose to teams below them on a couple of occasions, but
Tired.
they're playing pretty
They lost
good
to
footy
Tired
at the
but
moment.
Tired
They
last
did,
year,
yeah. And they're going along nicely because they've played less games.
No, they're equal now because last week they played the Pearstyle game.
Yeah, that's
which
right.
was
Well,
the-
up until last week,
Yeah.
and now they've managed to catch up, and they're looking pretty good. Chris, you'd expect them to win, wouldn't you?
Yeah, Devon Meadows have been ordinary the last few weeks.
They
I don't
have.
know if it's injuries and they haven't got that much depth through, but Chelsea sort of turned the corner and they look like being in that top bracket, not fighting it out for 5th, 6th and all that sort of rubbish. So I think Chelsea might have turned the corner a little bit.
Well, what do you reckon, Macca?
Yeah, I think Chelsea should beat Devon Meadows.
And being a Bomb Beach boy with Chelsea and Edith Vale being so close, and Chelsea Heights being next door, and when I first joined this league last year, I couldn't believe that you had Chelsea and then Chelsea Heights next door, that they're not in the same league, because you've got Wangaratta, learning all about it on the weekend, Wangaratta Magpies and Wangaratta Rovers next door to each other, and obviously they play in the same competition. I can't understand why Chelsea Heights would not be in the same competition as Chelsea.
They
They're
could
in the
be.
Southern
They
League.
could come into third
Well,
division, Dan.
That makes a lot of sense. A
I
lot
think
of
so
sense.
too, Dan.
Pearsdale hosting Coringal. Coringal, well, they were pretty poor when they played a bottom team a couple of weeks ago in Tyre, but Tyre were very good though. According to Brendan Dunn, your assistant coach, he said they moved the ball well. That's an opportunity for Coringal just to keep their unbeaten record intact here.
Last week would have been good for Coringal because they had a really hard 6 weeks of football.
Yep.
They would have freshened up, a light week on the track, Dan. I think it'll be good for them. They'll be fresh. They'll be ready to go again.
I don't think Holty will be back this week. I think they'll give him another couple just to get right. I think he's just still a little bit sore, but Pearsdale very ordinary last week. You've got to get within 20 goals at Chelsea, don't you?
Well, Brendan Goddard was there, and they said it was an outstanding success. And speaking to the league, they do this every year. They've had Barry Hall, and they had Drew Petrie last year, and they got good numbers there. Goddard kicked a goal, so it was great that the great man got to play. He'll go back and play in the amateurs now for Caulfield Grammarians, and they're in B division just on that, and they haven't lost a game yet. So he'll just add a little bit to that team and in their endeavours to try and win the flag in B division of the amateurs. Now, as we move right along, I'm very good at miscellaneous information, boys.
You're very good.
Rye hosting Seaford. Rye just have to win this, but it won't be easy, will it?
Won't be. This is a little bit of a 50-50 game, especially down at Rye. If it ever ends Seaford, you take them pretty easy. But Rye, I reckon, down there.
I think Seaford. I think Seaford are going to be one of the top bracket sides for the year. And last year, Mackie, you played against Seaford a couple of times, but they were in and got beaten in 8 to 10 games by less than 12 to 8
Yeah, they were right in most games, yeah.
And they should have beaten Hastings when we were down there a couple of weeks ago.
But Loney missed that snap game, remember that?
Yeah, they're not far away. It's a game they have to win. It's a game Red Hill have to win to keep their finals chances alive. And,
Rye.
Rye, exactly right.
You'll get another phone call Saturday night if Rye get up.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
No doubt we will. And I'll also get a text from you to say, who's the great tipper?
Correct.
It's me, champion, it's me.
Get around me.
Red Hill hosting Tired.
Up on that big Red Hill ground, they'll just cut Tyab apart. If it was a tie, it would be a different game, but I think Red Hill at Red Hill.
A couple of the boys I spoke to after the game on Saturday, and you might have gone by this time, Hulk, so I won't mention them, a couple of the players, said as soon as if Red Hill get up this year and they win the premiership, they can see them being a very good side in the top division for quite a few years.
Well, they've got great kids coming through, Dan. They really, really have.
They're a Division 1 side playing Division 2 footy.
Do you agree with that, mate?
Yeah,
you probably haven't seen
too
a
much
heap of
about
them.
Yeah, but from all the reports and all the results, they're absolutely smoking most sides.
Yeah, no, they'll play. If they got through. Look, it's a preemptive and all that sort of stuff. But they're a cracking side, Red Hill.
We keep hearing from someone in the crowd who has made a comment that he believes that the Division 2 players have to throw their own ball in, which is not right. I've called Division 2 football. Still a good standard. Thank you very much. That gentleman's name will not be revealed because he's very important to all of us.
Well done, Carts.
Good on you, Glenn. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. Morning. Now let's look at the top division.
Division 1. Here we go.
Pines on top. A game clear of Sorrento, who got beaten by Frankston Bombers. That was a great result for the Bombers. Mackie, your team flying. Von Beach going beautifully in third. Dramana going magnificently in fourth, surprising a lot. Frankston YCW in fifth. Rosebud at sixth, having won their last three. Now, Mount Eliza, I spoke to a well-known administrator at Mount Eliza after they lost to Von Beach. And even though they're unbeaten on top in the reserves and under-19s, this club, even though you'd have to say they're in a very good position to win both the under-19s and reserves again, this club is not about winning under-19s and reserves. It's about trying to find the next batch of senior players who can win a premiership for them. So you'll see probably some changes being made for some of those very good under-19s and reserves players getting an opportunity to play some senior footy because Mount Eliza are battling with 2 wins, Frankston Bombers 2 wins, Asp, who would have thought they might be in relegation territory so early in the season after being pretty good for a long time, and then Mornington on the bottom. So Mornington take on Frankston Bombers, boys. You'd expect the Bombers to win, and you would hope that the week off last week didn't help their momentum, Blackers.
Yeah, they were very good against Sorrento, Dan, and they had probably a limited side into that game against Sorrento. So I'd expect some of their more senior players to come back and fill some spots.
Can I say this? Frankston Bombers, so second last they were last week, we're third last at the moment. They are 2-4. They have Mornington, Edithvale, Rosebud the next 3 weeks. Bomb Beach are third at the moment, 4-2. And I watched them play, and they were really excited to get over the line against Mount Eliza because it was a big game. Sorrento, Dramana, YC the next 3 weeks, massive 3 weeks. So that little in between, that third to third last in that.
Bomb Beach won't win a game and Frankston will win all 3.
No, I'm just saying that's a more difficult draw than what the Frankston Bombers are facing. So if they can get off here against Mornington, Edithvale next week who are struggling,
Shane, if you're going to win a premiership or be in contention, you've got to win those games, don't you?
Yeah, you have to, yeah. At least 2 out of 3 of them, I reckon.
You've got to win the home games?
Yeah.
Well, last year, YC finished 5th with 9 wins. I reckon 10 will get you in this year. So you got to get 10 wins
So are you surprised with how well the team was playing, or were the expectations within that you could be a better team than you were last year, where injuries really caused a lot of issues, didn't they?
Yeah, when we got injuries to probably top 6 to 8 players, you know, which hurts. And as long as I've been at Bomb Beach, we've never really had that great of depth, you know, so that sort of hurt us last year.
Macca, last time you come against a good side, and that was Pines at home, you were pretty disappointing in that second half against Pines.
Yeah, I think there was a few of us that were really disappointing all day, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're in the...
I was talking about the team.
I'm just saying most of our top line players were down as well that day, you know, no one really stood up. And to be in the game still at 3/4 time was a positive, but we still had a lot more where we could improve as well.
They really opened you up in that last quarter, didn't they?
Yeah.
So we think Bombers will win?
Bombers will win that.
Yeah.
We'll jump down the bottom to Bomb Beach and Sorrento because we aren't talking about it. It is, as we said, a huge game. I think Sorrento will get a few back. Bomb Beach have been playing pretty well at home.
They'll get back? Because
I think Tapscott, even though his knee is going to be an ongoing issue. Luke's been very open about that and told us his knee is an ongoing issue.
He's been having injections.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. But he will be back, is what I've been told. Loudon came back and needed the run against the Bombers. So
Harris, I think, might be back too. Yeah. I think he did 3 at Richmond before he come back last week.
Loudon played against the Bombers. Against the Bombers, they were on 40 points. Is that right, Dan?
They were, yes. In regard to their recruiting, correct.
So Tapscott will come back in. He's more than a 1-pointer. So
he's been here 4 years now, Luke.
So
this will be 2.
This is
he
his
might be
4th
2,
year.
right?
Yeah.
So they'll have to drop a more senior player rather than a local player, would they?
Yeah, your facts right here, mate, or?
Yeah, correct. They would.
Well,
yeah.
They would. And we know what happened with Edie Asp last year, and they didn't recover from that, and haven't probably recovered from that when they played Shane's team in the first round and, of course, had that game taken off them. So clubs have got to be careful. They were right on you're right, Blackers, they're right on the periphery. This is a massive game. I reckon Bomb Beach are a huge chance at home. I've got to help Macca out a bit here because I didn't give him best on ground in the interleague. So I think Bomb Beach can beat Sorrento.
The only bad thing for Bomb Beach is that Sorrento obviously got a wake-up call last week against the Bombers and get a week's little rest there. But I reckon Bomb Beach will take them up there.
So it should be an outstanding game, Bomb Beach and Sorrento. Now, Shane, we know that Sorrento, and they've said this, they've admitted to it, that they love having a yap out on the field. They love putting their opponents off. We saw it firsthand when we broadcast the Dramana game a few weeks ago. You've come off a best on ground in the interleague match, absolutely outstanding. How will you cope with that if you get someone like Mitch Hallahan, who is apparently the leader of the band?
Oh, I'm not fussed with any of that stuff. Like, so they think that they can get in people's heads, but with me, if you leave me alone and I'm sort of mellow, I'll just go through the motions. But then all of a sudden, if you get into me, I'm like, righto, that's it, let's go. And then it fires me up a little bit.
Like
that's the honest truth. Yeah, like it just...
Hey, Dan?
I love it, absolutely love it. So they
goes off like a cracker.
They can do as much as what they want to do. I enjoy that sort of stuff.
Do you think, boys, that Luke Tapscott might say, just leave McDonald alone in regard to the sledging out on the ground? Because they know that he's such a good player and was outstanding last week that he doesn't need any of that.
No, because they feed off it. That's their go. They've said they try and mentally get in everyone's head who they play against and try and get involved. Why would they change? Why do they think it's not a good for this one than it is for this guy? That'd be a sign of weakness because they can't go away from what they were doing.
So is it your responsibility then maybe to protect the young bloke if he's getting a hard time?
Yeah, of course.
But make sure that it doesn't take away from your game.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Sorrento is such a good side. If you can't control their domination for 10, 15 minutes, they can kick 4, 5 or 6 goals. Can't they, Dan? And, you know, Manly's is a perfect example. They have dominated games for so long, but they haven't been able to dominate them for the whole 4 quarters. And Manly's has been able to give them that edge where they've had a lapse for 10, 15 minutes and they've been blown away.
So it should be an interesting match. Looking forward to that, to see how that game pans out between Bomb Beach and Sorrento. It is 3rd against 2nd in 1st Division. GameFace's match of the day. Dramana got a great record at home and they play that ground so well. I don't think they've lost there since the opening game of 2017. A couple of the players told me last week after interleague, Sammy Fowler and Sammy Gert. So they've got a magnificent record down at home against Pines. Are they good enough to beat them? Pines have got a lot of injuries.
No, Bongo's back this week. Yeah. Aaron's had another game under his belt. Haas has got the next 4. They've had a couple others come back through. They're a little bit scary at the moment, Pines, because they're just going through the motions, but they're getting all the wins. No one sort of can get over them. So this is huge for Dramana. Everyone rates Dramana and what they've done in the first couple of months coming up into Division 1.
It's been terrific.
This is their test. The only 2 losses they've had has been YC and Sorrento.
Yes.
All right, so this is another top
Yeah,
3
and
side.
against Sorrento, Sorrento dominated that, didn't they?
They did, but I thought they were pretty good early. I thought their defence held up, and Sorrento just got away.
I love what
in the
Dramana have
second
been
half.
able to do, Holmes.
Yeah.
I really do. I don't know if they've got it to match it with Pines, but we'll wait and see.
I'm telling you,
it wouldn't surprise me.
We were talking about it before, but Sam Gertz is going to be a superstar. I
Yeah.
mean, if he doesn't have another crack at
If he
VFL,
wasn't best on ground,
he's a really.
Oh, he was fantastic. I didn't know he was that good. He was terrific.
A lot better than Macca because he faded out.
Oh
didn't he?
no, Macca was still. I did say to Glenn, I haven't seen you play a lot, Shane, because I know you were injured a bit last year.
Oh,
but I didn't realise how good a player you were, how clean you were, what a beautiful
trying to
kick you
suck
were,
up,
and I will say that. But there was some players I haven't seen a lot of so far who were magnificent in that interleague match, and certainly Sam Gertz was one. Yeah, I'm digging myself out, Chris. Thank you very much. But looking forward to that game. So, what do you think, Shane? Who win that, Dramana or
I'm
Pines?
really interested to see who wins this game. Like, I reckon if Dramana play well at their ground, I think they're pretty hard to beat up there. I haven't really been back to that ground for 10, 12 years, but they play that ground super well. I'm really keen. I'll go with Pines just because they just know how to win. They haven't lost a game since the middle of June last year.
And Chewy Scanlon, who coached the under-19 team, and he was in a moon boot, said he'd be back by round 9. I mean, that would be a miraculous recovery for the Sorrento game. He said, I'll be back. I'll make sure I'm back. And I reckon that would be one of the most miraculous recoveries. But it's not for me to say that he doesn't know his body, because he does. He's 41 years old and still playing pretty good footy. So it would be wonderful, because the game will need to have Chewy Scanlon back against Sorrento. The improving Rosebud travelled to take on Mount Eliza. Mount Eliza just have to win, but Rosebud have won 3 in a row. Do you think the break last week, Blackers, might have gone against them a bit, because they've found form at the right time?
maybe. And Mount Eliza, it's going to be a game of 2 young sides. I think Rosebud's young, and I know that Mount Eliza are. And it's a good opportunity for some of these young kids at Mount Eliza to really step up and take that next step.
Mount Eliza, I don't think they can go with the team they've got at the moment. I don't think they can go with the top bracket. I think they're right around that middle rung. Rosebud being one of them, and they'll pinch game here and they might drop a bad one. But I just don't think the form I've seen over the last month that they've got that class. But at home against Rosebud, I'd expect Mount Eliza to get up.
Okay, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I reckon Mount Eliza. Yeah.
I think Rosebud away win.
I think Rosebud are playing better.
Yeah, I do at the moment.
And Frankston YCW and Edith Vale Aspendale. We're not hearing much out of Edith Vale Aspendale, out of Regent's Park at the moment. Could be 6 in a row if they drop this game and they remain in relegation territory. And as we said, that was unheard of at the start of the year. It just hasn't gelled for them this year, has it?
They won't win that. No, they won't win that. Not the way they're going. And like we said a few weeks ago, something has to change there. Like there has to be an event or something to occur to change the momentum around, because the way they're playing at the moment, they're not getting those wins. It's not getting any easier.
Well, they haven't got a lot of kids either, because a lot of their top age under-19 kids who are good enough to help them make a preliminary final in the under-19s last year are not there now, and they're getting better in the under-19s, but most of them are bottom-age players, Blackers.
Where have all they gone?
I'm not sure, but they're not there like they used to be. They're going well in the reserves, but I'm not sure many of those reserves players are ready either. So that's the issue. They've gone out and recruited players from other clubs and other leagues whose best footy, and we've mentioned this a few times, best footy is probably behind them, and maybe not the right sort of players either.
I still reckon their side on papers is nearly as good as anyone. But they're not playing any good. Like, I looked at it the other week when they were playing Dramana. I said, how can I pick against this Edithvale side? Because it looked fantastic. But they were never going to beat Dramana. Because Dramana are just playing a much better team football.
Too quick. Have you played them yet, Sean?
Yeah, we played them on Good Friday. Yeah, they were very stop-start, and down the line, just didn't seem there was any structure to what they were doing.
Yeah, well, I noticed that against Pines in the second half. It's the last quarters are letting them down. They're running out of legs. They're getting blown away.
They've got big, strong bodies that run out of legs.
They were right in the game, Blackers against Dramana. I thought they were a massive chance here, and Dramana just blew them away a couple of weeks ago. So that's an area they need to work on. But you're right, YCW, with the experience they've got, those wonderful defenders, they'll be too strong for them.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me about YC is their forward line. They've got to make a structural forward line that's going to work, because with Mincho out and Hennis out and all that, they struggle to kick goals. Around the park, they're all right. Just got to find
How far
a way.
away is Minchington?
He nearly played last week. He was ringing me, annoying me, trying to get a game.
Was he?
Yeah, he's great.
Yeah,
but,
that's good. They love it, those boys.
Yeah, so it should be
They're
this
very
week,
good.
if not next week. Same as Lockie Wallace.
Good on you, boys. Macca, thanks for joining us. Again, apologise for not giving you best on ground last week. It doesn't matter. You got the medal. They ignored me, so that's good. I'm glad they ignored me. But I'm a good person to ignore. Thank you, Hulks. Congratulations on the win, and hopefully you're there next year. Hopefully it's at the MCG. Will you come, Blackers, and broadcast with us next year on the MCG? You've got to come and do it.
Yeah, I can.
In the Ron Casey Media Centre. It'd be fantastic.
You'd be number one. I'd be just the.
You'll be number two.
Yeah, I'll be
You've got to know your spot. Thank you, Blackers. Thank you, boys. It's been great being part of the GameFace Footy Show once again in the MPNFL. Enjoy the footy on the weekend, and don't forget our match of the round for GameFace will be down at Dramana as they host Pines. Get your GameFace on.